This is the first lesson in a series of 3 lessons where I'm going to give you some tips and pointers on writing an essay, specifically a persuasive essay. So the first thing you're going to want to do before you do any essay, regardless of what specific kind, is you're going to want to figure out like your topic or your argument. So for this lesson, we're going to talk about constructing an argument. I'm going to give a few tips. First, you're going to want to pick your topic. Now, when you pick your topic, you need to be very specific. It's going to be really difficult to persuade someone of something if you're too general, or if it like you're overloading your audience with information because you have so much to cover. So you want to be really specific. A good example is you don't really want to talk about cats in general. You're going to be very specific. Like, what about cats are you talking about? Talking about like big cats, wild cats, domestic cats, and like what exactly about cats are we discussing? Like their fur, their how they communicate with each other, stuff like that. Like you want to be very specific, and you want to make sure that you pick something that you're either passionate about, something that you're knowledgeable of, or something that you are interested in learning about and learning more of. The reason why I say this is because if you don't pick something that meets one of those or all 3 of those, it's going to be really boring and you're not going to feel as motivated to do the research and to do the work for this topic. And if you are passionate already, it's going to show through your paper. And if you're knowledgeable, it's going to show because it means that you're going to have to do less research because you already know so much about it. And finally, if you're interested, that just means that it doesn't seem like work to you. It seems like really fun and like you are excited to learn about all this information and tell other people and persuade other people that this topic is important to them. So you want to make sure that your topic also has multiple sides so that you can argue at least one of them. Like if you pick a topic that doesn't really have any opposition to, it's going to be really difficult to persuade your audience because they're like, well, this is the right way. Like, I don't know why you're wasting our time. So you want to make sure that like whatever topic you do pick, it has multiple sides and that you pick one and be very specific about which side you're picking, very clear about it. A good example is like if you're talking about environmental issues, like that as a whole, like it goes back to being specific, like that as a whole, there's so many things you can talk about. But if you say like solar power or solar panels and why it should be used and or implemented in all like buildings and in order to like save on energy and stuff, that's an argument. And that also has multiple sides because some people probably don't think that we should have solar panels in almost every building or that should be mandatory. So already you see that there's multiple sides, and if it's like something you're passionate about, it hits all 3 of those things. The next advice I'm going to give you is that you need to be aware, or you need to be thinking as you pick your topic about the so what aspect of it. And what I mean by that is, why should you and your audience care? Like, what's so important about this topic? So going back to the environmental issues example, why does it matter if we talk about environmental issues? Why does it matter if we talk about specifically solar panels and it being a mandatory part of architecture? Well, for one, our planet is in a crisis. So that's a so what. Like, this is why I'm telling you, and this is why I'm persuading you to agree with me. Or, agree with me. So that's, especially for a persuasion and an argument, that's a pretty big one. Like, you need your topic, that's important, but you also need to have like a reason to argue against or for. And without that, it's just kind of like you're informing them, and that's great, but that's not the type of paper that we're looking for in this instance. So in order to persuade and argue for something, you need a so what, and you need a why. Like, why do I care? And it's just like you're giving the audience a reason to keep reading if you have like something to like justify your reasoning, justify your purpose of this paper. And so that's constructing an argument. There are probably multiple ways you can construct it. The easiest one is just honestly just to pick your topic and then go from the general to specific, and then work out your so what. I suggest maybe like doing let's do an outline real quick. So like topic, environmental issues, and then you want to be specific. So we'll do like subtopic, and that will be solar power. And then the so what, this is where you're going to get into your research. Like this is going to guide your research. So when I'm researching, I'm going to find out reasons that solar power is important and why it's needed immediately. Right now, all I can think of is that it's cheaper. Planet is in crisis, etc. Like you're gonna have multiple ones. You should have enough to have a full paper. So I suggest maybe having at least 3, maybe a little bit more. That way, if you find out that 1 or 2 aren't as big, or you can't find as much information on them, you can narrow those, you can take those out and focus on the 3 big ones that have the most information and that are most important to why you think we should have information on this topic, or why we should agree with that topic. So then in the next lesson, I'm going to talk about knowing your audience, which is like, that's something you do after you figure out your topic and after you figure out, like, you construct your argument. In order to prove that you have watched this lesson, I would like you guys to, in a blog post, I would like you to basically do what I just did. Pick a topic and then pick the subtopic or the more specific topic. I would also like you to pick or say why you pick the topic. Like, is it because you know about it? Is it because you want to learn more about it? Or is it because it's like something that you're really passionate about? Then I want you to give the why or the so what. And basically just like in a complete sentence, list at least 3 things. You can list more. But say this topic is important because, or this people should care about this topic because, and just list your reasons. And once you've done that, link it. I'm gonna put a little box below this lesson, and I would like you to submit your link, and that will count for your attendance for this. Thank you for listening, and hopefully this helped.